I'm live. I'm live. I'm live, and my hair is big. I'm alive, and my hair is big today, huh? Look at that. Look, would you look at that, huh? Actually, and that doesn't look too bad. I know, it's just me in front of the first time I've really looked at myself halfway, just checking things out. I may actually be, what do I want to say, like a minute or two? No, I'm not that bad. I'm actually pretty on time. I thought I had to double check whether I was starting. Good morning. Good morning, all. I had to double check if I was on YouTube first or TikTok because I'm going to do an experiment this week where I show up on TikTok. And I wanted to make sure that the people who are used to seeing me on YouTube um, get first dibs, right? So good morning, Kelly Smith and Cheryl S. and Becky R. and Penny M. and Louise and Sue. Good morning, and I love the smiles and the hearts and the flowers and the trees and the birds and the bees and this thing called love. And Judy, who has a last name Dukes that sometimes I say and sometimes I do not. Hey all, Monday morning you sure look fine. Yeah, it's Monday morning. Monday morning, we are almost through with March. Wow, it is raining out where I am. I don't know how the weather is for you. Uh, I hit the ground running this morning. I already feel like I've done a major amount of work today. So I'm just here kind of, as I like to say, kind of slowing down, shifting my gears. Here I am with you for the next hour or so on YouTube, and then actually the very next hour I'm going on to TikTok. So if you can't make now and you're like, gosh, I wish she was on at 10 a.m. Eastern, just pop over to TikTok, Destination Decluttered on TikTok. I'm going to experiment with that. All right. All right, there we go, Barbara. So you're taking me with you got me in the pocket. We're taking the cat to the vet. Did March come in like a lamb? I don't know. I have very little memory for certain things. I was thinking about it today. Good morning, McDugs, and Laura V, and Barbara H. Barbara H. I think there's a song, Barbara H. But I digress. Yeah, I was thinking about it in the shower today about how the human brain sometimes is like the brain on your computer where you have kind of the short-term memory, the stuff that doesn't really stick, and then there's the stuff that you want to kind of, control S and save. There are some things that just are there temporarily. I think it's to give me more brain cells to think and help you with your clutter. So we had a couple of decluttering parties this weekend. I think they went really well. I hope those of you who showed up to them got something out of it. Um, I will share with you that I got some really good stuff done of my own, and it wasn't just the stuff that you typically think of as decluttering. It was decluttering my calendar. It was looking down the road from the windshield and saying, what do the next couple of weeks look like? What do I have already blocked in? And what do I want to put in? And because I took the time to create my schedule, now is it done? No, but I had to start a new book. So I'm kind of halvesies on one and I started a new one. Are they all filled in? No. Like this is what? Tuesday, April 15th. I've got some coaching. I know when that gets closer, I will have more. But it feels really good to kind of stretch the calendar out because what you write down, you make happen. I think this is going to be a good one. What you write down, you make happen or is more likely to happen. I don't know if you make it because we write down a lot of things. But when you write something down on your calendar, that to me is a total shift. When you have decided that there is a year that you want to do something, that there's a month you want to do it in, that there is maybe a week of that month and a day of that month. And notice me, I'm going from big to chunking it down. I'm chunking down the year. And then on that day, you decide what time you want to take and how long you want to do it. When you write things down, it really helps. Don't try to solve the math problems in your head. There are things that need additional help, and your help is your hand and paper. Okay? So I just offer this to you because it has worked so well for me that I continue to use it. I don't even know really when I started doing my road mapping scheduling, but it works so well for me that it is worth the investment of time doing it. I know that my I don't feel as good about what I get done, and I feel like I get fewer good things done when I don't do it. So I encourage you. Today is a Monday morning. It is, as she glances over to her clock, 90, barely 9:05, 9:06 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. It is a wonderful day to say, you know what? Let me start this week off right. So feel free to turn down the volume on me. I can be chatting in the background, but bring out bring out your dead. Grab yourself your 50-cent notebook and do a brain dump of the stuff you want to get done. But even before you do that, maybe you make some buckets. Maybe you make some baskets to put those things in. Longaberger baskets, like some of you have decorated or collected and now we're using for your stuff. Okay. So I just offer this to you both from the life coaching Beth Destination Decluttering life coach, but because it helps your life, but also your decluttering. I spent quite a while with a client the other day just helping her, giving her the space because we were one on one coaching, allowing her the space, encouraging her to take the time to get the thoughts out of her head and down onto paper. Now, it took a while. Okay, good, because she had never done it before. Yeah. Oh, so Penny's asking me. Okay, so let me do a little update for decluttering. Laura Voorhees says, I decluttered one of my massive aloe plants this weekend to a good friend. She wanted it, and now I have more reasonable amounts of aloe plants. I love that. And you know what's so weird? I was in a strength training class this morning, and one of the people in the class was talking about her giant aloe plant. You're not in my class, are you? But notice also that something was too big for you. It was massive. And now you felt it was massive, and now you're feeling better because you have a more reasonable amount. Notice the difference between having one massive plant and a reasonable amount of little ones, and which one feels better. Okay. So just notice that. So great. You can declutter all sorts of things. Now, Penny Myers is asking, what is the road trip calendar plan? Elaborate. I'd be happy to. It's wicked simple. Okay. So if you think about it, the standard calendar we all tend to look at tends to actually look a bit like this thing behind me. This is how the one in my brain goes, and I can almost see it pinned up to the cork board on the basement door in my parents' the kitchen I grew up in. And it has a Sunday, and then it has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. And it has the whole month. Now that's a regular calendar. And sometimes we put things on that regular calendar. Here's a doctor's appointment, pick up the kids, drop the dog off, whatever. The things we put on our calendar, we make sure we get done. Typically, the things we put in our calendar are things that are promises to other people, the kid, the dog, the doctor. You know what I mean? The hairdresser, the hairdresser. I'm 90 years old. Thank you. Um, Here's what I do that has been a game changer. I actually use two calendars, and you can get this same kind of look if you use like I use the Google Calendar. Okay. And what I do, it's as simple as this. And let me open up my page today. Is I open up my workbook notebook. I actually have a notebook just specifically for this. And it's at a clear page. And you can see this one's kind of messy because I write things on it. And I take the page of paper, lined paper. I fold it in half so I have two columns. I'm all about that. And then up here, I start with 6 a.m. I put the date, Monday, March 24th. I put the date, and then I start with a number. I go 6, and then I skip a page. 7, skip a line. 8, and I go just all the way down to the bottom. Usually ends up about 9 o'clock. Now, what do I typically start my day at 6 a.m.? Hells to the no. But I had a 7 a.m. strength training class that I signed up for and paid for. You better make darn sure that I'm going to do it. So what I do is I basically kind of make a chunk. And I say a chunk from 7 to 8, I'm going to strength training, and I put it there. Right here, you can see. I don't know if you can't see, but right here, 9 to 10, YouTube Live, 10 to 11, TikTok Live. etc., etc. What this does is it shows me where I got to get better at this. Where I've got some space between things so I can do other things, of which I did between here and there. I've got a little bit of time here, then I go to coaching, a little bit of time coaching, and then I have some space. The reason I do this is because on a small monthly calendar, you can put 4 things and it might fill up that little block. Your brain will then think that whole day is shot, is done. I can't do anything else. Even if the things that you have on that calendar are like 7 a.m., noon, 4 p.m., and 7:30 p.m., that there's massive amounts of time in between them. Okay. So I do this to help my backseat drivers when they're saying, "Oh, I don't have enough time. I don't have that whole day." I say, "That may be true. That may be true, but it also may not be. So let me just see." And it's a map of the blocks and the things I want to make sure happen. Now, I put down the things that I've committed to other people usually first. So my coaching, my YouTube lives, my TikTok lives, strength training, yoga, the things that I've paid for or that type of thing. It's an appointment book, but it's appointments it's by me, yeah. And I like to keep it you see, I prefer, and this is why I coach, to not try to sell you something that is overly designed because I want you to find out what works for you and modify what you do. Now, the reason I mentioned kind of taking it like this is tomorrow. Notice I'm really front loaded. I have a little bit of time that I can go pee in between things, but then I have a whole bunch of time during the day. Now, I keep this second side empty because that's where I will kind of on the daily, or I've carried it over from the next day. I will jot down the things that I want to get done um, that don't necessarily require a certain amount of time, but I want to get them done by the end of the day. This is the beauty of me not trying to make money off of you, frankly, by creating a totally specific workbook type thing like that that you actually are moving into. We all start with a great idea. Oh, that sounds like it's going to work for me. Yet something along the way has often not worked for me. Penny Myers, feel free to try it. And if you know you can do it, try it for today and just even make out this is what I did during the YouTube live, excuse me. This is what I did during the decluttering party yesterday. Is I literally just blocked out, all these pages are basically from here. Notice, see, it's making the thing, it's making the template. But here's the deal. This is what I find helpful. So I hope you might too, is when you draw them out by yourself, when you don't just print them out, it allows your brain and body to slow down and really kind of push out your feeling of how the calendar works. That oh, okay, yeah. All right, that's right. That is April 15th. Right, I will be coaching. Oh, that's right. I will be coming back from Boston that morning. So I better get home earlier that day because I have early coaching. And it allows me to feel like, how I talk about expanding your nervous system and expanding like your, what's the word I want to use? Expanding your comfort zone, kind of like pushing it out and it's like a clear bubble. This helps me feel like I know more what's going on in these next few weeks versus being caught by surprise. So Penny and anybody else, if you want to experiment with this, try it. Just make the template for this week, block in the things, and each one of those lines is about a half an hour. But it's not really, it's just to give you an idea of how much that time is going to take up. It does not have to be exact. This will also show you when you aren't giving yourself the opportunity to pull over and take a break, to get away from your stuff before you come back to it. When you really have blocked yourself in so you don't even have time to go to the bathroom. I did that early on in my coaching career and I was like, this is not sustainable. I got to pee. So now when I am scheduling my new clients, I always make sure that there is a gap of time, an hour or a half an hour between clients, so I can shift gears, so I can come up and be better for people. Yeah. Experiment with this. Seriously, you guys. All it takes is, I mean, I literally go to Staples because there's one near me, and I've done this for years. I usually go during back to school because these are like 50 cents or 75 cents. But seriously, one of these, think about it. I think there are like 70 pages in these things. Yeah, that's like 2 months worth. So six of these for the year, that's like, even if these are $2, that's like $12. Your life is worth it. I also sometimes will flip up the back, like I was taking notes on something. I will use the backs of them for things. Hope that helps. Everybody, Carla Jane's in the house. Notice I'm using my microphone. Hello, hello. I was going to email you back, Honey Bunch, but I wanted to make sure I did not wake you up. She has been working on her stuff wicked hard. She is getting her hoarder mom's clothing out of the house, and she's hearing an echo, 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 echo. And she's seeing more and more of those beautiful hardwood floors. Nice to see you, Carla Jane. Yes, Judy Dukes is asking, so are the things you put on the left more specific? Completely. They are time bound. 7 to 8 was my strength training. 9 to 10 is YouTube Live. 10 to 11 is TikTok Live. 11:30 to 12:30 is coaching. 1 to 2 is coaching. 6 to 7 is coaching. Then the other things I usually zip in. I do at some point here, and then what I do, yeah. Then what I do Yeah, and you can just put 15 minutes of decluttering on your daily calendar. You can schedule it in. Scheduling it in, if you train yourself, to keep promises to other people by putting things on your calendar and showing up for that. I hope. I hope you do. If you don't, you might want to experiment with that. Get in the habit of using this for yourself. Remember, you are just as important or even more important than some of the people you are keeping promises to. So learn to keep your promises to yourself. But also learn to easily forgive yourself if you don't do all the things you promised yourself. And to me, what I see is when I block in certain things, I get it done, and I've gotten so good at this that I will get a ton of stuff done here. And then here's the important thing. After I've done this, just for those of you who kind of follow along at home, remember I often talk about writing up down the good stuff. I use this as the kind of hindsight roadmap of what did I get done? What did I make happen that day? So I can write them down. And I will put a line through them when I do it, but I will put a line through so I can read it. So then at the end of the day or the beginning of the next day, I'll say, yeah, I got some good stuff done yesterday. Oh, are there things that I might not get done today? Possibly. Then no big deal. I will write them down here. If they are not time sensitive, I'll probably just float them around here. But if I need to do them at a certain time, I might be like, you know what? I'm going to show up at 2 p.m. I'm going to finish the taxes, something like that. Hope it helps. It totally helps me. So that's why I just show up to offer you, to share with you, like we were hanging out at our kitchen tables with coffee cups. You know what works for me? This is what works for me. And it's worked for years. And here's the beauty of it. I probably get more done than I ever have before. But because I am in control of when I do it, I don't feel it feels like I'm doing less. It does not feel like an effort. Sometimes it does. So I prep myself. I prep myself for the road where I know that between here and there are no rest stops. So, like from 9 to 11 today, I made sure I peed before this because I'm going to be for 2 hours showing up on social media. So notice that today is a road. Today, from the time I got up today to the time I go to bed today, is a road trip. It's the same for you. You've got maybe somewhere you want to be by the end of today, somewhere you want to be closer to in your life. Maybe you want some more rooms to be less cluttered than they are now. You want to be maybe that you did some of the things that you want to do for your health, like drinking some water, taking my vitamins, doing some strength training, Getting those on your calendar, using your calendar as a roadmap. It is a roadmap from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you write it on a piece of paper, if you just anybody here make lists? Totally. I am a list queen. I am. I was digging through, and you can't see them right now. Where were they? I had a pile of these little boxes right here, over here when I was doing the decluttering party. And I said during the decluttering party, I think I'm going to go through some of those boxes. I did. I did. And you know what I found, which I've carried for years, and I seriously, 95, 2005, 2015. No, that can't be. No. Okay. 2000. Okay. 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I made a list of things to do. It was my like beginning of the year list. I didn't put it on a calendar and I got some stuff done. You will make a list, and I'll sometimes the things you think you're going to get done will not get, well, the other things will unexpected it. Yeah. Give me my list or give me death. I think that is the quote. It could be. But I want to share with you, there is a substantial difference in just having a list hanging around for whenever and then saying, I'm going to look at my year. Do I want to go to the Maldives this year? Maybe. Do I want to? Do I want us to finally get the basement floor done this year? Yeah, because we've been putting it off for 20 years. So that goes on the 2025 calendar. Do we want to do it in the winter when it's freezing? No. How about the spring? Well, that might be good. Okay. So let's look at March, April, May. All right. If we want to get it done here, is there a time in the midst of all our travel we can get it done? Putting it on the calendar and not just the monthly, notice I went from year to a season to a month. The daily roadmap to me is the game changer. Yes, and Cheryl is saying, I love making lists with tasks and love marking them off when they're done. Yeah, and I love it too. I really do. A friend of mine says, oh, I remember when we were in high school, you used to make lists. You made a list. And I'm like, I don't remember this. But I guess I did because it's what I do now. Getting a list is simply a physical representation of the thoughts in your head that are important enough to you to make it to writing down. That's pretty cool, huh? Sometimes when I'm doing coaching, I will share with you too. Sometimes I do want you to write down the things you don't like, that you are not used to writing down, that you're not used to paying attention to, those sneaky backseat driver thoughts that are the ones that keep you hanging back. The ones that are talking to you right now who are saying, don't write things down. That's stupid. That's not going to work for you. The ones that are like, no, that's not going to work. Or you've tried that before. They're so discouraging. Backseat drivers take the courage out of you to try something new. Backseat drivers discourage you. Me, I'm a co-pilot. I'm here on the road trip with you. I encourage you. It's like the opposite, right? I encourage you. Have you done this before? Try it again. So Penny is saying, wait, say that again. Now, I'll admit, I'm kind of like a jazz singer here. Booli bop bop, schooly wah. So I don't know if I ever repeat things exactly the same twice, but a list is a physical representation of the thoughts you have in your head, of things that you think that if you do them, they will make your life better. Yep. See, there you go. And you're writing it down too. And notice the repetition is allowing it to kind of sink in. It's like watering the plants and then letting it rest a bit, then watering the plants, you know? So, yeah. So think about it. You have a list running around in your head. I always call it like the swirling pot of spaghetti, because each strand of spaghetti is like a sentence. Pick up the dry cleaning, get my master's degree, break up with my boyfriend, tell that guy I like him, make a souffle. Whatever it is like a short little sentence. It's like a little noodle in your head. When they're all swirling around, you've seen it when the spaghetti is in the pot and it's all swirling. Each one is touching each other. It's up and down and all over. You can't follow one of those strands of spaghetti to the end. So think about this as you kind of dumping the thoughts in your head out like you're straining the spaghetti in a colander. And then you pull out one at a time and you go from beginning to end. You write a short sentence: feed the dog, do my exercises, declutter for 15 minutes. And you write them down. That is those are your thoughts that you're writing down. If you leave them up there, they're going to go swirly, swirly, right? Now, and notice this. Laura Voorhees says, my husband can tell when I haven't made a list, which is pretty rare because he sees me pinball motion and anxiety. Notice spaghetti swirling, pinball motion and anxiety. Pinball wizard. Yeah. Yeah. And seriously, putting on your list to make a detailed to do list. That's a good thing. It reminds you to it. Yes. Decluttering like the Stregonona. I love it. Yes. Yeah. And also even just think, and I'm thinking of those, um, the way that the Stregonona illustrations were, that the swirls of the spaghetti and the noodles is kind of like how they your brain looks. We've got little rivets and crustulates and little divots and what is it? Nooks and crannies to hold the melted butter. Our brain is not linear, but linear self helps ourselves get things done from the start to the finish. Our brain has got all swirlies. That's really cool because sometimes those swirly things will connect and come up with an idea you never even thought you would have. One of the most important tools in your toolkit is your brain. So become friends with it. Notice how it works and work with it. Do not try to fight against your brain. If you are wired a certain way, own it, love it, take care of it, encourage it, but work with your brain to get the results you want. Notice how I'm saying work with it. Do not, if you offer to, well, I'm ADHD and I can't do this and out of sight, out of mind and blah blah blah. Do not let how you are wired be a prison. Notice how it is and work with it. Okay. Laura Voorhees, nooks and crannies to hold the melted butter. Come on, Thomas's English muffins. Everybody does. Did I watch a lot of TV growing up? Was I a latchkey kid? Hells to the yeah. Tra la 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 la, tra la 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 la. I loved the banana splits when I was wicked little. So we could even take a time, and here's a funny thing too. Let me riff on this. The two most important tools in your toolkit in your life are your head, your brain, and your heart, your nervous system, or however you want to call it. I like an alliteration. So I just like to say head, heart, and then hands because you will not move your hands unless you're Anne Margaret. You will not move your hands until your head and your heart give the green light to your body. That's really just like like something at a like a work site. If there's a red light here and a red light here, you're not doing something. So get curious when you're not doing something and let's diagnose it. Is that coming from my head or my heart? And it's usually the interplay between the two things. Okay. Oh, interesting. Laura Voorhees just read ADHD for Smartass Women. Good read. Sounds right up my alley. Oh, excellent. You guys, Pop Tart Mama's writing it too. I'm going to write it down. Notice I'm going to write down something that I want to remember because my brain is a creative machine. My brain is not a boring old filing cabinet in an old timey office. No, I use external memory, literally and metaphorically, to remember the things, to make it easier for me to remember the things I want to remember. So I stop what I'm doing and I say, you know what? I'm going to take 15 seconds and write that down. Okay, that maybe took 10 seconds. And even that, didn't it feel a bit awkward? 10 seconds of quiet? Can you imagine? We could take a minute here. You could play along at home. Everybody go get something to write on. Ideally, and this is another thing too. The reason I use a notebook of this size and of the spiral bound Notion is this is an impermanent notebook. Notice how I have very few pages left because every day after it's done and I've transferred all the things I did do to make myself feel good um, onto it, I tear out the other day and I throw it away. I have evidence of the good stuff that happened in the past. I've got boxes of it. I don't need to keep this. That's why I make it easy to tear them out. Um, I also practice writing things down in the same place consistently. So it's one of three places. Occasionally, your mileage may vary. But even when I write something down separately, I often transfer it to the place that I'm used to going to see what's going on. Now, this is just a daily snapshot. This is not the big list of things to do. I have a big list that I draw from. It's like my pantry of things, you know? Um, and so I highly recommend you can get a little notebook. You can get some post-its. I mean, something's better than nothing. When you have an idea and you don't want to lose it, you will use whatever's available to you. But that's why I make sure that I have a place to write these things down. We have a place in the kitchen that we have pens and a little clipboard with some things to write down the shopping list. I use my phone when I'm out and about, and I will talk text myself a message, but it's in a app that I use that keeps notes that I can also then look at on my phone. So, anybody want to play around at home? We can take a minute. I can set my timer. Just experiment. I'll give you a minute. If you want to play at home, just I'm sure you have something to write with, but I'll give you the extra time. Is there a notebook that you often use to write down your things? Or is there one you could start using? If not, no big deal, but take a moment and go get it. And then Mondays are always a good day to say, okay, I have some stuff that's starting to build up in my head. Let me dump it out, you know? Um, do that. And as we're doing that, as you're getting your stuff, I will answer Kelly's question. And then what I'm going to do is I will pause for a minute. I will make sure it's a minute because I use my timer. So don't have to worry about, oh my God, this is going to take forever. But what you're going to notice, I think I was saying this earlier before I sidetracked myself. Your backseat driver, think of it as a little kid. Little kids have limited vocabulary, so they say the same things over and over again. One of the stock phrases of a backseat driver is, I don't have time now to do that. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do that. I've got to do something else besides that. And what I want to offer to you is you have a minute, right? If you have a minute to listen to me and sit down, you have a minute to write down some stuff. So I will mute myself and then just take a minute. And this is what I like to say to my clients is whatever comes up, and I say it's kind of from the head, the heart and the head, kind of whatever comes up, write it down. And writing it down is another one of all the downs that we talk about, the slowing down, the sitting down, the calming down, the breathing down. Because when you write something down with your hand, you are requiring your brain to coordinate with your hand. So it's not 90 miles an hour, but you are getting your body involved, and your hand can only move so fast to write legibly. It helps you shift gears and get into a more calm mindset so that you're not in panic mode. Okay. So a couple of things. I hope everybody's getting their stuff. I'll give you like a minute. Kelly Smith was asking, what's the name of the app you use for talk texting notes? It's called Trello. I think it's owned by Atlassian. I have it on my phone and it coordinates with what's on my computer. So it's easy to kind of use the both. So that's what I use. Pop Tart Mama says, when I want to remember something and don't have paper, I text my husband. He's always confused saying, what is this random stuff? Funny thing is, my husband and I, we must be wired the same way because he'll often say, oh, can you text me this? Like, we'll be in the car. Can you text me this? Can you send me an email that just says this on the header? To capture that thing for fear of forgetting it if you leave it up here. Okay. Clara says, do you do your brain dumps weekly or daily? Um, okay, Kelly Smith, you know what? Maybe one of the decluttering parties. I'll just throw this out there. And I hope all of you got the email that I sent out, not only about how I'm doing the YouTube lives and the TikTok lives, but also in April, I'm going to experiment with offering the decluttering parties at different days of the week and different times of the day. So if you have ones you want to do, the way you can kind of cast your vote for it is to just send me an email about it. So if you would be interested in me using like a decluttering party, but not have it be a party at all, I could teach you all how to use Trello the way I use it. Maybe that would be one of those things where you pay a ticket and get in. Okay. If you're interested in that, don't just say it in the chat. That's great, but I won't remember it. So send me an email. That will be a thing. Okay, so you're saying that would be great, Kelly Smith. Do the next thing and send me an email because I may forget between now and all the other stuff that's going on. Okay, but if it's important to you, send me an email. Then I can have that to refer back to. Awesome, Kelly. Yeah. Clara says, do you do your brain dumps weekly or daily? I do it. Think about this. I dump it out whenever it feels like it's getting full. Whenever I start to feel like I've got a lot going on. Let me clear my plate. Let me calm down and feel better. I always feel better when I get these thoughts out of my head. So I do it quite often. I do it whenever it feels like I need to do it. Um, Immediately sometimes. Like I'll get a good idea, inspiration. Inspiration. I'll be like, send flowers to so and so. Text Jeannie, do, get that cassette player working again, whatever it is. I talk text it to myself so it's there so I can grab it from the pantry of ideas and make sure those things happen. Okay. Um, and I love it. Here's an idea. I'll share it with you. McDougs says, I just use Libby Library app to get that audiobook ADHD for Smart Women. I love that because it occurred to me. I'll just say library. Now, I don't listen to books as much as I used to because I rarely am behind the wheel of the car, like on road trips like I used to be, but I will see if they have it in my library too. Thank you for that idea. Okay, as promised, do you have your pen and paper? I do. I am going to get my timer here set up. You have a timer on your phone too. Use it. I am setting it literally for 1 minute. Notice when your backseat driver says, even if you're not reading, notice how 1 minute of silence can feel like a long time. So when your backseat driver says, I don't have time to do that, say, I'll just give it 1 minute. I'm going to start it. Oops, hit the wrong button. And I will come back on when the timer goes on. I'll be quiet. Here we go. Timer has started. Let's write stuff down for a minute or just notice. All right. Oops, let me stop that so it doesn't start again. Stop it. Notice that was just 1 minute. I hope you wrote some stuff down. I hope you even just noticed that a minute. Notice I chunked down. I don't have time to do that. 1 minute. And you can get some stuff done. Even if it's sitting down, calming down, quieting down. Yeah, that was a fast minute. Yeah. You know why? Because oftentimes at the very beginning, we're still in high gear. We need to shift gears. I will offer to you that, and many of the people who've done the, myself included, have done the decluttering parties. So this is how a decluttering party works. In case you want to show up for the ones that are this scheduled this Saturday and Sunday, we start at noontime Eastern, and we go till about 1:30, quarter to two. That's the end. Is usually very casual because people will leave when they need to. But within that hour and a half, we have three timed 20-minute chunks of decluttering. In between that, we shift gears and we exchange ideas and we encourage people and we share what helped, and we tell people when we got stuck so we can help each other. The first 20 minutes, boom, always seems to go by really quickly. So notice your body may be still shifting gears to like slow down. Have you ever driven a car that you can't just slam on the brakes and go from like 80 miles an hour to 20? You're going to be like, huh, right? No, you got to slow it down. And sometimes it's like having a, if you're eastbound and down rolling up and trucking, you're like having to slow down this 18 wheeler full of all this stuff, and it may take a while. So notice that. And then the second chunk is usually feels better because you're a little bit more slowed down and in the pace that you need to be in order to get these things done. Okay. So I just offer to you these kind of tips. These are the things. And then when you're in a better, slower, more mindful mind space, when you're driving that miles an hour, that's when you can ask yourself a question and you have time to answer it. Now, I love this. Judy Dukes says, yesterday's declutter party was a success for me. I got so much accomplished. I am so glad. And notice what happened yesterday. Like, I will just, I won't get into specifics, but Judy had a destination. Destination. I don't want my bedroom to be the place where I pitch things. I want my bedroom to be the place where I have a restful place to escape, a refuge. And I love it. She's definitely heading to the final destination for her bedroom. Now, along the way yesterday, she got a little bit possibly sidetracked. If she was not at the party, she may have stayed spinning, going, I don't know what to do with this. And she may have just gotten up and walked away and walked to another room. Because we were in the party, she was able to say, okay, I'm here, but now I don't know what to do when I'm here. Now, me, because I am a road trip fiend and I am a coach, and I kind of feel sometimes like I am like a travel guide. I know what I have an idea of what could help you to get from being stuck there to getting moving again, and not just moving randomly, but moving towards your destination. And so I was able to help her with that. And then we clarified, okay, so, oh, now I get it. Okay. So the next chunk of time, I'll do this. And then the neat thing was that um, she was then in the in kind of in a groove, almost on like not autopilot, but when you're on like, what do you call that thing, cruise control. She was kind of cruising along, and so she decluttered more even after the party. She asked a friend to help her move some furniture, and she is closer to her destination than she has ever been in the longest time. Notice there are things available to you. Coaching, if you can't afford the one-on-one coaching, or you don't want to, or whatever, you're afraid to even know how much it costs or how it works, notice that there's something stopping you from doing that. Now, I'm not going to get into convincing mode about one-on-one coaching, but I will say, if you want to get a baby step, these $20 a session group decluttering parties may give you an idea of just a little taster of what one-on-one coaching would be, and that can help too. It's helping Judy, you know? Yeah. And Penny Meyer says a calm and clutter-free bedroom is so peaceful. I agree 100%. I have little nicks and knacks and stuff like that in the public areas of the house, but our bedroom is so simple and so clean and so just clear and simple and bright and cheery and calm. It's easy to maintain. And this room right here used to be the pitch and ditch room, you know? So I know what it's like to have a room that you're saying, I don't know what to do with this. And you pitch it in the room, but then you never go back and say, what do I want to do with this now? You avoid the decision making. And then notice what you're not doing. Notice that you're not decision making. So just get curious. What's the backseat driver telling you to convince you not to take action, not to decide what to do with something? Now, you will not make all the decisions in a linear fashion. We are humans and we are not linear. We are not machines. It's not everything that comes out of this box, I make a decision until the next time. Some things will be easier to make decisions on than others. Do the easy ones first. You'll have fewer things there. Then make the more difficult ones. They also don't have to be done at the same time. I'm going through boxes and I have recently pitched or mailed to somebody else or taken a picture of and shared it with somebody or thrown it in the trash or donated, all of those things. Stuff that I have carried around with me for almost 50 years. And that's many of the ways that I feel good about no longer having to have this thing. It's working, but it's organic and it feels okay. And there are some things that I opened up a box. I'm like, I'm not about to go through this today, but I can go through some other things. Oh, well, I love this. Robin Schroeder's offering, since I started doing 20-minute increments, time them. Oh, look, it's 9:47, you guys. We get 13 minutes. She says, since I started doing 20-minute increments, I get so much more done. Yeah, chunking it down. This chunking it down has been such a game changer for me. And I'm not even sporty, so you can imagine me changing a game. So chunking it down, calming down, sitting down, writing it down. Okay. Now Carla's offering, because Carla and I work together, she says, one-on-one coaching has changed my life and my future life. Oh, I love that. Also has changed my family as a whole. And I will just edit for clarity. I believe the change has been for the positive, not the negative. Okay. Now, Penny, there we go. Judy Dukes, I'm going to get to Penny in a second because I want to get into that. Judy Dukes says, I took the mirror off the dresser, moved it, and put my TV on the dresser. Now it can be used for the TV and organizing other items in the drawer. I love that. Just because your dresser came with an attached mirror does not mean you need to keep it that way. You can break apart what doesn't work for you. Just because a dresser or a bureau, as we would call it when I was growing up, was allegedly meant for your clothes does not mean you can't keep something else in it. You get to decide what works best for you. So, Judy Dukes, rock on. Now, Penny Myers, notice I have decisions usually start up here in the head. I have decided to donate about 100 CDs so many times and still have not done it. All right, so notice this map. Your brain has the sentence in it, I'm going to donate 100 CDs. But your body, your hands are not moving to put those CDs into the car and into the donation place. You know what's in between these two things? I feel like rub your tummy, pat your head. You know what's in between your head and your hands? It's your heart. There's something in your heart, and I would encourage you to just write this stuff down, Penny. You don't have to do it right now, of getting curious about what's being whispered. What's the fear? What is your backseat driver saying that's stopping your hands moving? Why is it a red light here or a yellow light and not a green light? Because when it's green light up here, you say, "Yep, I'm going to donate them," but then you don't. It's red here. The hands are not moving. You've got some your signals, your traffic signals you're stuck at an intersection in your heart. So your hands are not moving forward. So you don't have to do it right now. This is the great thing is one-on-one coaching. We just talk about this and even you don't need to share it with me, but I highly recommend. Another way you can use your book, open it up to a blank page, fold it in half. That's about as origami-y as I get. And write backseat drivers here and co-pilot here. And then write down what your backseat driver is telling you why you should not, why you can't, why it's not a good idea to donate those CDs. We will be going through the CD donation thing momentarily within the next 3 weeks. So I will help you with that with some specifics, Penny Myers. But what I know from me culling out my CD collection is that some CDs I bought back in the day, so I had immediate access to the songs I wanted to listen to. That is now an outdated technology. And many of the songs that I had on CDs, it was easy to let go of the CDs because I could listen to the songs elsewhere on my phone, in my iTunes, looking up a TikTok or a YouTube video. Other CDs I kept because it was not about the CD, they were sentimental items. They were about bands I really liked that I wanted to show that I had the whole set. They were ones that I got autographed. They were ones that were import only, or you can't find the song on the internet, you know? So I would just offer to everybody anything you're not doing, and there's like a stop sign there, hang out, quiet down, slow down, sit down, shut the door, put on your earbuds. Don't listen to anybody else but yourself. Yourself. And just say, hey, what's up with this? Why am I not donating these CDs? And then listen for your answer and write it down. Okay? It can be really eye-opening. Now, I love this. Yes, Robin Schroeder, this is so important for those of us who are list makers. She says, I did a master list, and I want to offer to you guys too. I want to try to change the naming of that. I did a master list. I'm a main list. I'm thinking main. It's like your main list, your resource. I did a master list, then chunked it down to a smaller list. Thanks to you, Beth. Oh, well, you're welcome. I would previously I would make an overwhelming master list and rarely get one thing done. Yes. Think about your kind of master list as the grocery store, as like your pantry. You're not going to use all those things at once, right? You're not going to open up your pantry and say, "Oh my god, I need to make all this food." But what you will do is you can pull things out of it and say, "Yes, I want to do this now." But then you have the security of knowing that when you go to declutter or whatever it is, that you have already started the process because your brain has said, do this. Yeah. Okay, so Penny is saying, okay, I got no autographs. CD player might be somewhere. Don't listen to music anywhere. The master list is more like just your list of things. It can be both. A wish list. I hope everybody has a master list of wishes. God knows I do. Mainly mine's travel, places I wish to go, but also concrete things to do. The basement, buying more crocus bulbs, getting a manicure, stuff like that there. So lists can be used for everything. And that's why it's so great when you can make a list yourself. And you can make multiple lists. This is what I was doing with a client the other day. Literally, I think you guys may get a kick out of this. Instead of making one long list right here, see this right here? I made like a little tic-tac-toe. But since I watched a lot of TV, I call it the Brady Bunch, right? Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. And then you put a header here, like health, house, or bedroom, or travel. You're creating little baskets to put these things in. And so you're already, when your thoughts are coming out of you, when your random thoughts are flowing out of your head, you don't have to make one massive long list. How about chunking it down into categories already? Before it even leaves your brain and goes from your brain through your heart, through your thing, you can decide, is there a category this belongs in? And when you categorize them, you're chunking it down and it's easier to get together. Penny Myers, I love you got a pedicure yesterday. One of my things was to schedule one for next week because we're leaving at the end of next week for another short trip and it's going to be sandal weather. So I want to make sure that I get my toesers looking good. Now, for those of you who are new to me, all of this stuff, you might be like, what does this have to do with decluttering? It has everything to do with it. because you are setting yourself up. Your brain is trying to help you. Your brain is trying to help you by giving you ideas of things that it thinks will help you feel better in your home. It is creating a list. You could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And if anybody's ever been in like a creative meeting, there are no, don't edit before you just get it all out and then see what you have. And then you can eliminate the ones that don't seem to kind of make sense in the light. You know, you could have an idea, and as soon as you say it, you're like, ah, you know what? No, that wouldn't work because, but at least you got it out of your head. You all have awesome ideas. The magic, this is the great thing, is that I don't have them. I mean, I have them, but I show up in your life to remind you that you have the music in you. You have all the good stuff in you. It's just a matter of trusting yourself, giving yourself the time, being kind to yourself by saying, not, I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not stupid. I have a brain. My brain has given me some ideas. And whatever ideas I get, I'm going to write them down. Now, I love this. Robin is offering something that works for her. I am a music person. So putting on a good playlist, turning it up and getting into it, I feel more productive and I find myself singing and dancing while decluttering. Changes my whole attitude. I got a new attitude. Now, I admit to you, I am a music person too. Sometimes when I'm doing a certain level of decluttering or what I call surface area maintenance, music and dancing helps. Other times when I'm in decision making mode, I need silence. So notice what works for you and play with it. Play with it. Sometimes I don't need silence. Maybe I need music, but I don't want music with words in it because then I'm going to start singing along. You know me, I will sing along to anything. You'll dance to anything by Depeche Mode. So I sometimes need, especially when it's sentimental items, I need silence because, oh, now we only have 2 minutes of this, but I want to get into this. If anybody's interested, I am going right now in 2 minutes. I'm going to transfer over to TikTok. They don't even know I'm going to do a live, but you do. I'm hoping to get the word out to some new people that there's help available if you have clutter. And if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, you can learn all the downs, all that good stuff. This is something that occurred to me yesterday as I was living through it. So I just want to kind of plant a seed and share it with you. If any of you have been watching Severance, you know that there's this thing where the people go and they're on the uh, elevator and they kind of go from one part of their life to another. When you are going through, this is one of my kind of suppositions. The human body and brain often don't know that it's not calendar driven. Your brain really is, but your nervous system isn't. Your nervous system doesn't know what year it is. Your nervous system doesn't know how old you are. This is why you can be the age you are right now and still feel you can still cry about something that happened to you when you were 4 years old. Because of this, one of the reasons that you get so wiped out when you go through sentimental clutter is because you are time traveling. Your nervous system is going all the way back to 1968. Your nervous system is going all the way back to 1984. And then it's coming to the future. And then it's going back to 1973. And then it's coming to the future. And then it's going. And so a lot of that time travel takes energy. Okay. So I just wanted to leave you with that because I think that's something worth thinking about. So do not be surprised when you only get a little bit of decluttering done of sentimental items because it does drain your battery. Okay. Now you can see I'm going to go show up on TikTok. I'm going to do it right now. And those of you who want to follow over there, do it. Those of you who don't, I get it. But know that every day this week, I don't know about next week, but every day this week, I've scheduled a YouTube live and a TikTok live. The schedule is on the page, the secret page. If you don't know what the secret page is, sign up for the mailing list. It'll be revealed. Okay. You guys rock. I'll see some of you in a minute. And everybody else, have an awesome day. Bye. I'm like, bye. Come on. There we go.